Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So, today was an interesting day. We got a lot of volatility, and we may get some more because breaking news, the Department of Justice is now cleared to sell billions upon billions of Bitcoin. Is this bad? Is the market going to react? Well, let's talk about it. And let's talk about what else to look forward to going forward. And today is DCA night. So there's that as well. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin is certainly looking better right now than, let's say, 6 hours ago. Because Bitcoin dipped again. We had a little volatility. But then we started recovering, which is good. But we just had this dip. We went from like 52.3 all the way down to 95.3 down to 93.4 suddenly, and now we're coming back up. Why is that? Why do we have this dip out of nowhere when it seemed like we were, on our way up and then things were looking good? Well, it's because of this. This just came out. A lot of things are being done, if you guys haven't noticed. Like, a lot of things are being done before Trump gets inaugurated. And I think this is one of the reasons why this was cleared now. But whether or not this actually goes through, I don't know. But this was just reported like 30 minutes ago. The Department of Justice has been given the green light to liquidate 69,000 Bitcoin, approximately $6.5 billion. And this is a portion of what was confiscated from Silk Road. I guess there was a case over this, whether or not the Department of Justice is allowed to sell it, but there was some other entity that was claiming that this belongs to them. But I guess it's been cleared that, yeah, now they are able to sell it. Here's the thing. We are only 12 days away from Trump taking office. And we know Trump already stated that he wants to take all the confiscated Bitcoin that we have, put it into a reserve and call it the new strategic reserve, and continue to load up more Bitcoin during his term. And hopefully one day utilize that reserve to pay off the national deficit. So here's the thing. It would be really, really silly for the Department of Justice to sell 69,000 Bitcoin literally 2 weeks before Trump takes office and creates this strategic reserve, unless it's being done on purpose. There are a lot of things right now being done on purpose before he takes office. So I don't know. Or it's just a total coincidence that this has been approved now. Kind of strange. But here's the thing. Like I said, the market reacted. We did go down a little bit from 95 down to 93, and now we're recovering back up. So obviously there was a little bit of panic selling. Some lettuce hands like, oh my God, I need to sell again. And now market is recovering back up. And today was a pretty good recovery again for several. XRP is still strong. SUI came up in a big way. Solana held its ground and came up again. Today was actually a decent recovery day. Yep. And it sucks for the lettuce hands because, like I said, we just had some people sell off, right? But over the last day, 23,000 Bitcoin sold at a loss. A lot of lettuce hands out there. Still cannot take the heat and probably sold off due to the fact that they thought that we were going to go lower and they could buy back, or they just wanted to just get out. But I've been telling you guys, volatility happens every single cycle. It happens all the time. And just because we have a little correction does not mean the bull run is over. And if you sell off now, you're going to regret it and end up buying back later at a higher price, right? So that's exactly what's been happening. Same thing with last week and week before when people sold at 92,000. It's the same thing. But besides this breaking news of Department of Justice, right? What else happened today? Well, we got that very important Fed minutes, and also relates to Trump. The officials, including Fed Chair Powell, is worried that Trump's policies, including his new tariffs policies, could impact inflation in a negative way. So that's all said, but it didn't really move markets. In fact, I think the markets are moving upwards afterwards. But a lot of people are still wondering what Trump is going to do. Okay. Including this, he may declare a national economic emergency to implement his universal tariffs, including 20% or 25% tariff from anything from Canada or Mexico, and 10% from China, and whatever else that he's planning. This got Canadians really worried about the future. I actually saw something that he said today. I saw a clip of Trump talking about all the reasons why he thinks Canada should become the 51st state. And actually, a lot of it sounds pretty legit. It does seem like the U.S. gives out a lot of handouts, a lot of money everywhere, and doesn't get a whole lot in return. And Canada's one of those countries who we supply $200 billion worth of funding and a whole bunch more of subsidies, and we give our military support to them, and we buy things that we don't actually need. This is all according to Trump. And this is why Canada should be a 51st state. There's actually a lot of talk about this. Whether or not this is going to be true, I don't know. But man, it seems like there's a lot of traction on this, especially since Trudeau just resigned. Anyways, moving forward, we got a lot of stuff going on about Trump, what may be coming, what may not be coming, and a lot of stuff. It's going to be quite an interesting year. It's going to be a very, very interesting year indeed. For crypto, for Bitcoin, for the U.S., a lot of things are going to be changing. Something else that came out today is this revolving credit in the U.S. has dropped off a cliff. Normally speaking, this would be good. This means that people are spending less and borrowing money less, right? Being more responsible, that's good. But that's not how the U.S. operates. Most families in the U.S. love to buy and spend. That's why we have a lot of credit and credit card debt and so forth. This is actually surprising that the credit is actually going down. So what does that mean? That means that people are penny pinching. The economy is not doing so well, right? So this is actually good for Powell, right? This is good. Gives them a reason to continue to cut rates, because right now we're in the bizarro world where bad economic data is good for markets and good economic data is bad for markets. So yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, let's not forget Greenland. Something else that's actually picking up a lot of traction, whether it's going to be true or not, is if the U.S. is going to buy Greenland and make it the 52nd state of the United States. This is wild. There's a lot of reasons for why the U.S. will want to buy Greenland. First of all, Greenland is not as big as it appears on the map. Okay, it's not enormously big. Second of all, it gives us a military advantage. It gives us rare earth minerals. It gives us oil. There's a lot of reasons why we would want to buy it, but it seems kind of silly in this day and era that we could actually still buy countries. But yeah, this is something else. But what's interesting is, yeah, if we do take it over, it'll be a great place, great place to be mining Bitcoin because of its cold environment and its abundance of renewable energy. So actually it makes sense, especially if we're going to become the crypto capital of the world. I saw a really funny comment about this. Why buying Greenland would be bad. I gotta think about it, but it's something about flights. Like a lot of you guys, those of you guys in the U.S., you know that domestic flights suck, and you don't get a whole lot of, a lot with it. You don't get food or anything unless you're flying first class. But someone made a comment. The only bad thing about buying Greenland is Greenland becomes a state. So now when you're flying internationally, it becomes domestic, and you actually don't get any food with it. I thought that was actually kind of funny. Although, yeah. Anyways, moving forward, we still got a whole lot of stuff. Okay, a lot of stuff besides countries, buying countries, making country states, and making Bitcoin a strategic reserve of countries. We got states that are also doing that as well. Here's the Bitcoin Freedom Act, which allows vendors to set Bitcoin payments, right? I mean, that's not a surprise, but this is for employees of the state. So now we got states that are going to build their strategic reserve, but also there are a lot of states that are coming up rules where, now officials and employees, government officials and employees can also start accepting Bitcoin for payment, but also businesses could start accepting Bitcoin for payment. I mean, it's just like everything, right? The world is changing and adopting in a good way. That's why Bitcoin is the name of the game, not gold. Even Mark Cuban says, I'd rather own Bitcoin than gold if something bad happens to the economy. I think it has more value. But yeah, this is why Bitcoin's ETF from BlackRock has broken all records and has doubled AUM than BlackRock's gold ETF, which has been around for decades. The demand for Bitcoin is just way higher than gold at this point. Okay, there's no doubt about it. And that is why the recent dips, right, you got to view them as gifts, because Bitcoin and Ethereum and others are not going to be sticking at these levels forever. Because we know that Bitcoin is scarce, and with all this FOMO, the supply shock, and all the favorable regulations and rules, not just in the US, but around the world, is going to carry Bitcoin a lot higher, right? This research group predicts Bitcoin will go to 150,000, Ethereum going to 8,000. But there's many that predict a lot higher. This analyst says Bitcoin will go to 200,000. And, Rover's planning this and saying, it goes to 280,000. Who knows? But what's interesting is this. Every single cycle so far for Bitcoin, the first week of the new year, of the final year of the 4-year cycle, which includes 2017 and 2021, the first week actually was bad. Look at 2017. Bitcoin actually dipped from $1,200 down to $780. That's a huge, drastic drop. That's like a 50% drop right there. That's insane. And that was the last time Trump took office. 2021 is the same thing. Look at that. Huge dip from 40,000 down to 28,000. That was the beginning of the year before we start rallying up. So, whatever little tame correction that we have now, first of all, is very, very tame compared to our last two cycles. And second of all, what comes afterwards, if we're mimicking previous cycles, is greatness. And this is another reason why you don't want to be out. Right? All right. Outside of Bitcoin, I talked about Sui. Sui is doing absolutely tremendous things. I had a really good recovery today. And there's many reasons why. TVL now exceeded $2 billion, right? Basically, the fundamentals of Sui keeps on going up. Now they're talking about AI. AI obviously is one of the hottest things out there. So now they're looking at doing a partnership with OpenAI. That would be huge. It's not official. They're trying to do this. But yeah, it makes sense that Sui wants to go into AI. We have other L1s that's in AI, like Near Protocol, right? But honestly, anything. Solana could be in AI. Cardano could be in AI. Anything could be in AI if they wanted to, right? But this also is pretty good. You know, they got a lot of dApps like DeepBook. You can make trades. That's 99.58% cheaper than Coinbase. I mean, this is just like a lot of DEXs out there, right? And there's others that's on Sui as well. Sui's also in this new fund from Grayscale. So that's pretty good. Although, look at the weight. The weight of it, 55% of Solana, 21% of Cardano, Avalanche, Sui, Near, Polkadot. So Grayscale knows. Solana is the big dog still. But still, that's going to help. And obviously, a lot of people are making comparisons to Solana in the previous cycle and thinks that Sui will be the Solana of this cycle. And so far, it has not been disappointing. It is climbing the ranks. It still has to go up 7x before it equals Solana's market cap. So there's still plenty of room to grow. And that's just the beginning, right? So a lot of good things happening. They have a lot of game developers, a lot of dApps coming on board. TVL's going up. Address is going up. Got a lot of good stuff. Oh, and here's something else. A lot of people that own stocks, you know, always ask me, well, should I go with mining stocks or MicroStrategy, Coinbase or something? Well, now you have another one, Exodus, which is a wallet maker. So they listed today. I don't even know what their market cap is, but that could be an interesting play. All right. That's pretty much it. Bitcoin is still coming up, 94.7. We may be back to 95 in no time. And this FUD could just be FUD. I mean, I just don't think anyone from the Department of Justice has the balls to actually sell all this Bitcoin before Trump takes office, because as soon as he takes office, he's just go fire whoever is doing this. So even though they're cleared to sell it, I don't know if they're actually going to sell it. You know, and even if they do, worst case scenario, right? Saylor has been buying Bitcoin like mad. The amount he's buying is already exceeds this by a long shot. So even if they do sell, hopefully they're not just dumping it on OpenSpot Coinbase. They're doing OTC. But I'm sure Saylor or others can eat this up like it's nothing. All right. What else? Today's DCA day. I haven't done DCA in a while because I've been traveling for a while. I loaded it up. 24 hours down about 1%. Let's look at a week. Week is only down 1%, surprisingly. So we didn't even go down that much. Month down about 7%. Okay. Well, what about 1 year? Up 115%. That's what matters. Not short-term volatility. Long-term gains. So it's looking pretty good. You know, a lot of green right here. Bitcoin is still the big daddy. Leads the way. 223% gains. Solana's up there. Sui's up there. Sui made huge climb, but it's still... I don't think I'm very underweight on Sui here. And then you got Cardano, Avalanche, BNB. You got a lot of these that are way in the green now. You still have a few, like Polygon, that's still not really moving. I don't know what to do about Polygon, if I'm being honest. All right. What am I going to DCA? You know, because I missed last week, I'll do $200 today rather than $100 because normally I do $100. You know, and with the market being down, it's actually a great time to be DCing. So what do I like? I know I'm underweight in XRP. So I'm definitely going to add a little bit more XRP today. I still think I'm going to keep adding Sui because I'm still very underweight in Sui compared to Bitcoin and Solana. So I'm going to add those two. And then I'm probably going to add... maybe Injective. Because I just cover how Injective is going to 3.0. So I'll do those three. All right. So let's do Sui first. So $200 divided by 3 is how much? $66.6. So let's add 66. Divide by 4.79, 13.97. Okay. And then let's add XRP. Very underweight in XRP. 28.329. And then I said I was going to add Injective. I haven't added Injective in a long time, but I think they're promising, and I think they can still come up in a big way this year. If this isn't lagging here. All right. Oops. All right, so I added $200 this time rather than $100 because I missed last week. So I added Sui, XRP, and Injective. I think those are good. Injective. I'm really underweight on XRP, so I may have to add more XRP in the future. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Bennett is saying, hey, George, this is how you say Polybury. I'll never be able to pronounce that new candidate's name. Dustin made a joke on top. Trump landed and said, I thought there would be more green land than this. That would be something he would say, actually. SCR, isn't DOJ cleared to sell all Bitcoin that we hold? What do you mean all that we hold? Some of it is, but some of it, this is due to like some kind of entity that sued and said that, they're owed $69,000, so this couldn't be sold. Something like that. But the total amount was actually, I think, bigger than this. Wasn't it? Anyways. There's not a whole lot of news stories covering this. So there may be a chance this is a total FUD and this is completely fake. But I'm going to consider that it's probably not fake. And this is done on purpose right before the inauguration. And so it's going to happen. Well, one or two things going to happen. Either nothing's going to happen because no one wants to get fired. Or two, they're going to sell it, and we may get a little volatility, and then it's going to be eaten up by the market. That's it. Javier, why do you go from 2021 to 2025? Because of the 4-year cycle, my friend. 2021 was the last. How the 4-year cycle works is the most bullish year is the year after the halving event. The last halving event, prior to 2024 was 2020. So 2021 was the most bullish year. Now that we're past 2024, which is the last halving year, 2025 is the most bullish year. That's how it works. That's why we have a 4-year cycle based on the halving event. And if you look at how things have always moved, it's the final year of the 4-year cycle is when Bitcoin goes up. What do you think about Pendle? Actually, Lewis, I actually have no thoughts about Pendle. Can you look at Sequoia by Virtuals? I got high hopes for them. No, sorry. No, I'm not going to look at AI agents. I'm not really involved with them. And I think there's a bubble being created right now around AI agents. Too many projects are hopping on the bandwagon. Virtuals itself is doing very well, though. Extremely well. Almost too well. To date, I still have not heard a good explanation on halving year. What explanation do you need? It's where the inflation rate of Bitcoin gets cut in half. That's what a halving year is. So we started, when Bitcoin started, every block produced 50 Bitcoins. Then after a halving year, went to down 25, then went down to 12.5, went down to 6.25, and down to 3 point whatever, and then it's going to keep going down. That's what the halving year is. Is Cake a good buy? You know, honestly, I haven't kept up with PancakeSwap because BSC, I don't know. I just don't hear a lot about BSC, but let's see what Cake is at now. 680 million. All time, they were much higher. They haven't really moved. Man, they're still way off from their 2021. I don't know if they're going to jump to that because BSC is just not as strong as before. BNB token is still strong, but BSC and the overall chain is now overlooked because everything is either layer 2 or Solana, you know. I don't really see any dApps launching on BSC. And even memes on BSC do not do well. Do you think Chronos could ever be like BNB? It could, but I don't think so. It's possible, but unlikely. Did you see that Bhutan is going to have BNB in their strategic reserve? I covered that this morning. It wasn't just Bitcoin. Yeah, they actually have a whole bunch of crypto in their reserve. Now, the question is, how much do they really have? You know, I don't know. But if they keep buying and put billions and tens of billions, hundreds of billions in there, then it's going to have effect. But if they're just putting like $5 million in there, that's not going to really have effect. But it is good, though. It shows that a lot of countries are starting to believe. And it adds up. You know, 5 million here, 5 million there, 5 million somewhere else. And it starts adding up. Department of Justice dumped today. Wallet shows 0. So did they like dump it all today already? Because this just came out today. This just came out like 30 minutes ago. If they actually dumped already before this came out, that would be wild. But then again, if they did it already, then that means we're over it. Right? Sell at a loss or hold to zero. It depends. Depends on what. Everyone's saying super cycle, making me believe the next bear market will be brutal, especially for alts. Unlikely. It's not going to be as brutal as the last cycle. You look at the drawdowns of every single cycle and they become more and more tame. The first cycle in 2014, Bitcoin went down. You could look it up. It was like 90 something percent. And then 2018, it went down like 80%. The last one in 2022, Bitcoin went down like 70 something percent. So every single cycle, the drawdown for Bitcoin becomes less. So even if we don't have a super cycle, and then we do come back down, it's not going to be any worse than previous cycles. It's not like it's going to go down 99%. But, you know, we could still have that, you know, regardless, even if Bitcoin goes down like 60%, for example. Alts will go down hard, like every single cycle. That's for sure. But if you're paying attention to what's happening with the current economy, or current conditions, I should say, or current landscape, there are a lot of things that are changing. A lot of things that never existed, and they do now. We never had ETFs before. For better or for worse, we never had a whole bunch of funds now holding nearly 5% of the Bitcoin supply. That has never happened before. Do you really think that all the funds and everyone that has bought shares of these ETFs will dump in 2025 or 2026? A lot of them are held by big institutions, right? So there are many firsts. If we get a strategic reserve, that's going to be a first. For a nation to fully embrace Bitcoin, that's a first. So there are a lot of firsts that's happening. This cycle in 2024 is the first time ever we broke through a previous high before the halving event. We did that very early in March. That was a first. It was also in 2024 the first time we broke through $100,000. That was a first, right? We may have never had a super cycle before, but could be the first. Uniswap. What about it, Nick? What about it? Are we going to have alt season or what? Yes, you have to wait another 6 to 8 months. When everyone says super cycle, what do you mean in real terms? An even bigger extension in price levels or than before? How I interpret it is we no longer have the same deep drawdowns and same extended crypto winter that we had before, meaning Bitcoin goes down 80% and we stay in crypto winter for about 2 years, then we recover back up. So super cycle means that we would break that cycle. It means that maybe after 2025, we only go down 50% or 40%. And it only takes us a year to recover, or maybe 6 months to recover. And then we keep on going. So we break the usual cycle. And like I said, because of the landscape changing and we have a whole bunch of new things this cycle that we never had before, the percentage of a super cycle this cycle is a lot higher than previous cycles. Previous cycles, it was near 0%. This time around, I can't give it a percentage. Is it 50-50? Is it like more like 10-90, 20-80? I don't know. But I do know the percentage this cycle is a lot higher than previous cycles. Can you review XRP? I talk about like XRP all the time, man. I don't know what you mean by review. I do have a educational video. I guess I could show that. I haven't played that in a long time. You know, I save it for special occasions. I guess maybe today could be one of those occasions. Super cycle's on, according to Gina. Here's the XRP review. Buy it now. It's never too late, guys. It's like even like the long-term holders try to like shame people after they convert, and I don't even understand that. A lot of XRP guys, they're like, oh, it's too late to get into XRP. You could have bought it when it was like 30 cents. So what? You could buy it $1. You could buy it at $1.70. I picked up XRP finally at $1.70. I'm still up like 70%. It's like, it's never too late to get in. I don't get all the shaming from like certain crowds. They're like, oh, it's too late to get in. No, it's not. Unless you think the top is already in, it's not too late to get in. Everything's going to go up, except, you know, not everything, but all the good or reputable or the ones that have great communities, they're going to go much higher. We're just getting started in this bull run. Peep said NVIDIA was too late last decade. Microsoft 3 decades ago. Google 2 decades ago. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. But you'd have to pay attention though, right? Like, especially with technology plays, because they can always be surpassed by someone else. So you don't want to be buying like Sears thinking that it's going to go up forever. So, you do have to pay attention in crypto, right? Like, I know a lot of people are like really hopeful about Ethereum still. I think its demise is greatly exaggerated, but because of the increased competition, they are nowhere near as strong as before. It's obvious that they're not. Their dominance of ETH have been going down. So you do have to pay attention. You can't just sit on something forever. Other than Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin you could sit on forever. Anything else, you got to pay attention to the landscape. Make sure that no new trend or competitor is going to overtake what you're holding. All right, guys. So let's see what happens with this. I'll have to look at Arkham. Maybe someone said they already sold, or maybe that's clearly FUD, or maybe this is FUD, or maybe they haven't sold yet. But we will see. Tomorrow's another day. Bitcoin did bottom out once again around, where do we go? Where do we go? We went to like 93. We're a little bit higher than that. Are we going to bounce tomorrow? Wait, tomorrow is Thursday. We don't have the U.S. market is closed tomorrow. It's like a new holiday. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow morning. I think I should, but I usually don't stream when the market is closed. So I'll stream sometime tomorrow morning. I just don't know if it's 8:30 a.m. I may or I may not. It'll be a surprise. All right, guys, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And oh, I got something to show you guys before you leave.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larsen.